everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that I think is really interesting, especially in the gaming community, and that is the whole debate on what's better, what should we get rid of, that is physical versus digital. Some people are like so hardcore physical, they won't download any eShop titles or PSN or any of that stuff, and then some people are so pro digital, like what a waste to have a physical copy when I can just have it instantly and all that, blah, blah, blah. So I've come up with sort of a list of all the pros and cons to each, what is good and bad about physical, and what is good and bad about digital, because I think there's pros and cons to both. Yes, there's one that I prefer, I'm sure as a gamer, I'm sure as a YouTuber with a gaming channel, I'm sure you can assume which one I like more, but let's talk about the pros and cons to both. So let's talk about physical right off the bat. It's my favorite. Physical is my favorite. As of recent, I've become less and less willing to buy physical for movies and music because of all the great streaming services. Things have really been improving. So I haven't really been buying as many Blu-rays lately, and I haven't really been buying that many CDs. I will only buy a CD if it's like my absolute favorite thing and I just have to have the physical CD because it's like my favorite artist ever. And same with Blu-rays. If it was like, I think the last Blu-ray I bought, I think there was two. I bought the Sailor Moon on Blu-ray just because it's the kind of thing that's not on Netflix, and they finally re-released it on Blu-ray, so I kind of had to have that for quality reasons and because it has the original language and blah, blah, blah. I wanted it. And I think I bought Whiplash just because it was my favorite movie last year, and I thought, no, I want to own my favorite movie of 2014. So for movies and music, it's tough because especially with the great streaming services for music, you can kind of have everything except Japanese music. That one's more of a struggle, but with Western music, kind of everything is on these services, so I've been less and less inclined to buy physical copies. But with games, I'm super, super, super physical. I think it's just because of the collecting aspect. I don't like collecting like data. I want to collect something real. I really like collecting games, and I think it's because with the old games, it was so exciting to have physical, and you grow up with it, and I like having games. I like going to EB Games or wherever and actually buying it and getting so excited to bring it home. It's just different somehow I treat it differently than music and movies, but then again, if you would have told me 5 years ago I wouldn't want physical releases of movies, I would have said, yeah, right. So who knows? Because I like physical games more than digital, I have a list of pros. And first off, used games. You can't really do used games digitally. You can't lend a digital copy to a friend. You can't bring it over to a friend's house and play, like Mario Kart, for instance. You have the physical copy, you can bring it to somebody's house as a Wii. We do that. You go to pawn shops, you go to EB Games and buy a used one, and it's cheaper. And that's how I buy a lot of my games, is used. Or you go on like Kijiji and Craigslist and all these places, eBay, and you can get a used game, and it's way cheaper. So that's a huge pro for physical games, huge. When you buy a physical game, you tend to get more with it. You usually get a beautiful case. There's some collector's editions that are pretty epic. They come with CDs, collectibles like figurines, really cool booklets, guides, whatever. I know Vita decided, you know what, we're not putting any booklets in our cases anymore, which is dumb. But besides Vita, you at least get something. Some games tend to be better with that. Others, it's just like some kind of safety booklet. Others will actually include a guide, but regardless, you get something. I like opening it up. I can't wait. Like, it's like at Christmas. It's the difference of getting a gift card for Walmart or EB Games or wherever, or GameStop, and the difference of actually just getting the game and opening it up and tearing it open. It's so much more exciting. It's like opening up an envelope with a gift card in it or opening up a big present. It's kind of how I treat it. I just like it so much better. And I also just love the collector aspect. I have a shelf. I like my game shelf. I like looking at all the games I have and organizing them, and it's just kind of fun. Again, I used to be really hardcore with that, with Blu-rays and DVDs, and now less so. But with games, I don't know. I really, really, truly like the original format. I still like playing games in the original format, although you can download old games, like Earthbound, for instance. It's on the eShop, but I would rather just play it on Super Nintendo because I have it. I have some of these Super Nintendo games and I want to play them on the Super Nintendo. It's exciting, gives me nostalgia. Okay, we'll talk about the cons to owning physical. Because yes, of course there are cons. They break. You can like step on a disc, scratch it, whatever. Cartridges are pretty good. It's pretty hard to destroy them. But again, it's something that has the potential to break and not work anymore. You know, blowing on the whole cartridge thing. That's annoying, so I get it. If you want a physical game, you actually have to go to the store and buy it. You cannot just click a button and have it download to your console. You have to actually go and get it. So while there are midnight releases and you can just have it instantly at midnight because you downloaded it, you have to actually go to the store and buy it. I like that. So that might be a con for some people, but I don't mind going to pick up a game. It's exciting. I can't wait to go there. I don't know. It's just really, I just love it. I like it. I like it. One other con to owning physical is you have to carry all the cartridges around. So if you are like packing a trip and you're bringing like your 3DS or your Vita or whatever, and you want to bring a bunch of cartridges, you have to actually bring those cartridges with you. Some people might find that annoying. They're literally this big, so I don't really care. But yeah, some people, you know, you want to bring your Wii U to somebody's house. So you gotta, well, I guess you'd have to pack up the Wii U anyway, but you have to bring all the games. What a hassle. I don't really think it's that big of a hassle, but those are the cons that I see to owning physical. Let's talk about digital. It's the thing now. Everybody wants digital games. It's going up and up in popularity. So yes, there are definitely pros to digital. You can have it right now, instantly. If I want a game that's on the PSN, say right now, or Xbox Live or wherever, I could just have it right now. I can just literally, I don't need to be dressed or ready to go. I can seriously just download it, go grab a drink, and come back and the game is there. I don't need to go to the store, bundle up and go there or whatever if it's winter, because I know that's a pain. I can just have it right now. That's huge, huge pro. One thing that, because again, I'm a physical person, one thing as a pro for me for the e-titles and digital format is the fact that it gives a lot of indie developers a lot of opportunity. So there are so many games that aren't ever released physically, but it's because they got their start on the eShop and they've become popular. Just as an example, Shovel Knight. They're actually releasing a physical copy of that, I think next week. And it started as an e-title and it was very popular. Huge, huge, huge game. I think funded through Kickstarter. But we wouldn't have games like that if things were cartridge only. You know, Cuphead comes out next year. I can't wait for that. Xbox One exclusive. I'm so excited. But again, it's not a physical release. It's going to be like digital. And we wouldn't, again, have it if, you know, it was physical only. It gives all these developers that don't have the kind of funds like EA Sports and, you know, Ubisoft and all these whatever, or Nintendo, to actually physically release it, and now we can have it digital. I think that's really cool because there are really great digital games that are on par with the big companies, and we wouldn't have them if not for digital. Cheap e-sales. There are tons of times I've gone on the PSN and there's some great older game for 99 cents. So, you know, there might be, I'm just throwing it out there, but there might be an older game, say, on the PSN, like Chrono Trigger, and it's 99 cents. You're not ever going to find Chrono Trigger on the DS or the Super Nintendo for 99 cents anywhere, unless you're at some old lady's garage sale and she doesn't know. You're just not going to find it for that cheap. So that sometimes, you know, I remember there was a PSN sale, I think last year or early this year. They had all these old PS1 titles that were like all $1. So I kind of bought a bunch because I thought, $1? Like, I can't really beat that. I can still try and find the physical copy at some point, but if I really just want to play it, $1 is pretty sweet. So I can't really argue with that. The one great thing about the digital world for games is it gives opportunity for people to play old games because they can't afford the physical copy. Example, bring it up a lot, but whatever. Earthbound is now on the eShop for the Wii U. That game is like minimum $200 to $250 cartridge only. If you want the whole thing with the box, it's like $600 or $500 or sometimes up to $1,000. And it's like, if you want to play Earthbound and you want to play it on the Super Nintendo and you don't own it, well, I kind of feel like saying good luck, because unless you want to shell out, at least $300 to get the cartridge, you're not playing it. But now you can get it on the eShop for $10. And although I'm a huge Earthbound fan and have the actual copy myself, I've recommended so many people to be like, go in the eShop and play Earthbound, because for years nobody was playing it because people are thinking, yeah, I'm not, and I don't blame them, I'm not spending $250 on a cartridge. Well, yeah, no kidding. So now you can just play it for $10. And it's sort of like, have the glory of owning the cartridge, or just have the glory of being able to play a great game. So I feel like that's pretty sweet. Like, there's so many games on the eShop, like Secret of Mana. I haven't played that. The cartridge is expensive, so I'm a little tempted to just buy it for $10 or $6 or whatever it is on the eShop and just play it, because you can play it instantly, and it's on your Wii U. It's on a current system, because there's a lot of people that don't have a Super Nintendo, so there's that, or don't have it hooked up, and it's a big pain. And I get it. Like, my Super Nintendo is hooked up, but I feel like most people's Super Nintendo is not hooked up. So that's really cool, because there's all these older games, like even on the PlayStation 1, and you can get them for your Vita. That is so awesome. Because I'll be honest, I'm somehow okay with having the Super Nintendo set up, but like, God, I put in my PlayStation 2 and play a PS1 game or a PlayStation 2 game. It's just a big pain. I'd rather play it on my Vita. I like handheld more. And yeah, so that's a huge, 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 huge benefit. Let's talk about some cons of digital, because let's face it, download times suck. And I'm sorry, but with updates and all this crap, yes, you can have it instantly, but if everyone is downloading it at the same time, like Call of Duty, chances are you're probably not getting that game like instantly. It's not gonna like appear like that. I feel like people who sit and download something like the newest Call of Duty, and by the time it downloads, I could just have gone to the store and get it back. Even then, I would probably still have to do some update, and there is no winning here. But regardless, download times suck, and especially when something is new, because everyone's downloading at the same time, and that's kind of a con. Sometimes, let's face it, consoles these days are really shitty in regards to storage space. They're like all 500 gigs, and I feel like these games now are so big that, like, we bought a second hard drive for the Xbox One, and I only have under 10, I'm pretty sure. Like, not that many Xbox One games, and yet we bought a second hard drive that's a terabyte, because these games are way too big. We've downloaded a few things on the Xbox One, so I guess that, would take space. But like, with these consoles with big games come out and they give you 500 gigabytes of space, that's stupid. Because it's like, well, I don't know, because now you have to actually buy the game on digital. I can always delete it because I still have the physical copy, but it's just awkward. So to me, that's shitty. That's a con. No used games. I know I've said that sort of already, but there's no used games. There's no used digital copy. That doesn't really make any sense. And that's crappy. I love the hunt. There's no hunting. You can't be like, ooh, I can't wait to get a digital copy of Call of Duty at EB Games. Like, it just doesn't, that's not a thing. So that's crappy. Digital games aren't necessarily any cheaper. And that to me is a huge piss off, because, I feel like if you go to the store, there's so many other things to pay for. You're paying for the people who work there and all that stuff. You're paying for a service, and then you're also paying, for the actual box itself, like the actual, I guess they're not really boxes anymore, but the case, and sometimes a booklet and all this stuff. You literally don't get anything when you buy it on digital. It's just like a file. And to me, that should be way cheaper. Not like $10, but like at least $10 cheaper. Like, I'm trying to think of a happy medium here, like $20, $10 cheaper. You're buying it straight from the supplier. So you should be getting it supplier cost. So it kind of pisses me off when a game is $70 at Walmart and it's $70 on the PSN. It's like, well, if I'm going to spend the $70, I want an actual thing. Like, it's kind of annoying. I feel like I wish it was cheaper. So that's dumb. So those are sort of my pros and cons to physical and digital. I don't know what you guys think, but I personally like physical more. I just love having something, and I love used games. To me, there's more benefits. However, there are definitely benefits to digital, because you can play old like games that are really expensive to have the original format, like a Super Nintendo game, a Nintendo game, PlayStation 1, whatever. And now you can actually just play it for $10 on the eShop. So a lot better when, some of these games are like, $150 at a pawn shop or something or online. It's just dumb. Like you think, oh, I'd really like to play that old RPG, and it's like, yeah, for $200. So it's like, I don't know about that. Because usually things when they're old, depending on what they are, the value goes down. Like you can find certain Super Nintendo games for like $3, and then some Super Nintendo games for $500. So that's annoying, and it's nice if you think, you know what, I'm never going to have the money or never going to mentally want to spend $500 on a game. I don't blame you. And you can spend, $9.99. So that's a huge benefit. And the fact that we have all these indie games on the digital mediums are really cool, because we wouldn't have those games if it was physical only. So having said that, I really like physical more. I'm almost on it at a tie. I kind of like them maybe 60-40, because I like having something physical more, but at the same time I'm really excited that I can play some old games that I don't necessarily want to shell $100 out for or more, just because they're on the eShop, and that's awesome. So tell me what you guys think, because I know some people are really one-sided. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm kind of thinking I'm not as one-sided as I used to think I was, after really delving and figuring out what the pros and cons to each are. So I thought that would be an interesting topic, and comment away. I will see you guys later.